Hawa ka shio ni gadawu nuidai da wadoa anigi lonhi agi yawi chitalagi naule chi madamaskit ahnida ani piskatawe naule ani chesati ke unadotla sa ide doha udohi yugali heli shkogi. I just introduced myself in the Cherokee language, and I'm grateful to be in the homelands of the Piscataway people, as well as all of the Chesapeake indigenous peoples of this area. And when I was trying to prepare for this presentation, I realized that I am in the fortunate position of having too many people to thank. It would take me hours to thank everyone. I'm deeply grateful for all of the people that raised me and taught me and have shared with me throughout my artistic journey and life. And so that's why I'm so grateful to Kevin Lewis, to the National Museum of the American Indian, and also to everyone who's helped with this artist leadership program. Because of this, I'm going to be able to share and teach and help raise other people. So I'm very grateful for this experience to share the knowledge and beauty that I learn about here at the museum. This statement, every action with a living being is an opportunity to positively affect the world, is something that underlines pretty much everything that I do. It's my personal life mission and also my work life mission. And as Gabrielle mentioned, I'm a dance artist. My focus is using movement as a way to tell stories, using movement as a way to empower people, using movement as a way to communicate. There are 4 main types of work that I do. I do community art projects, and that's where I go into communities, I listen to stories, and I work with the people in that community, whether it be a school, a group at a university, a family, and we create a performance project or mixed media arts project out of their stories. I also do dance. I perform dance. I choreograph my own dance. I choreograph for other people as well. I do education outreach, such as workshops. I do residencies at schools. I do work in public schools as well. And I do wellness classes, which include things like Pilates. I call it dance just for dance sakes, kind of fun movement classes. And also I have a support group series that is designed to use movement to work with sexual trauma survivors. So I have a little example of some of the type of things that I do. One of my community arts project called Act 3, I choreographed a piece of dance about the stigma attached to rape survivors. And I was performing this piece and thought that it would be a wonderful piece of choreography to work with the community. So I contacted the Metropolitan Organization to Counter Sexual Assault, which is in Kansas City, and worked with a group of survivors. I taught them the piece, and then they presented it at the Take Back the Night rally before the march. And so that's an example of the kind of work that I really enjoy doing, and I hope that the people that participate, they also get something deeply from that. Dance and choreography. As I mentioned, I am very much interested in hidden stories. That is part of the foundation of the work I'm doing here at the museum, is going back, finding out what the history and the truth behind elements and design is, and creating artwork from that. I have a small video for you. This piece is called Earth Madness, and the background is it refers to the madness that has in recent times enveloped human beings and our relationship with the earth. So the way that we are living currently in terms of how we treat non-human beings and the earth and the plants is like a type of madness, and that's what this piece is about.
Laughing and crying, living is dying, dying is living, walking and swimming, swimming and walking, singing and talking, talking and singing, taking and bringing, like the medicine, start breathing, gopal, sage, eka, muden, eka, tolansin, skakwa, I'm remembering. I'm remembering my roots.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes. So, and so that was an example of my performance work that I do. I also do, as I mentioned, I'm trying to get through that. Okay. Good. Education outreach. This is a photograph taken from Haskell Indian Nations University in Lawrence, Kansas. I worked with a group of students at an empowerment summit. So I do workshops that teach people how to use movement as a different way to express phenomenon in the world. I also do lecture demonstrations, wellness classes. This is at University of Kansas with the First Nations Student Association, and my father happened to stop by, so that's him in the middle. So, yes. And so, okay. So at the root of all, I think for all of us artists, we have the things that are close to our heart. And for me, the things that are close to my heart that I use the hours of my day and that are in my mind are my family. So we have the family tree. Stomp dance, which is our ceremonial dance for Cherokee people. The Cherokee language, that's a picture of Sequoia there with the syllabary. The Kansas City Indian Center and the youth of the Kansas City Indian Center, as well as my greater family and tribal communities, and growing things. You see the corn down there in the corner. It is with the youth of the Kansas City Indian Center and the other members who come to our cultural events that I'll be doing the community project with, and the information and the things that I view here at the museum are what's informing that project. And so we have a monthly culture night as well as a summer camp. That's what that picture was from. And I've gotten to know a lot of the youth. I've seen them grow up over the years. And so I did an identity project with them a few years back. And one of the things that came up was there was a lack of knowledge about some of their own family traditions, as well as the indigenous traditions of the Kansas City area. Frustration with expressing identity, also not having a place to be allowed to be Indian, and so needing to be with other people where you could be yourself freely and discuss the things of your community and family freely. And so all of these things were issues that came up. I most recently also spoke to the director, Gayleen Krauser. This is the board of the Indian Center, as well as some employees that you see in that picture behind the Kansas City mayor. And she mentioned also that she was interested in contemporary art being valued. So all of those issues, combined with my own interest in the ancient artistic history and the ancient peoples of the Kansas City Indian Center, helped me to create this project, which is Center of the Universe. And Center of the Universe is a community arts project exploring ancient urban Midwestern cities, the stories of Indigenous people living in Kansas City today, and celebrating contemporary urban Indigenous identity. The 4 things that we'll be looking at are the artwork and the forms, the aesthetics of ancient Indigenous Midwestern peoples, as well as our own identity as contemporary Indigenous people. We'll be looking at our creation stories, and we'll also be looking at our family stories of how we ended up in the Kansas City area. It'll take place in June, the final performance, and we will be looking at different artwork. We'll be having discussions and art making and dance making sessions and present our final product to the community in June of next year. What I have been privy to look at here at the museum is that source material the artwork from the Midwestern area, so the ancient peoples of the area. And the things that I'm looking at and hoping to find are dealing with materials, images, and techniques. I wish I had a whole nother hour to share with you all of the beautiful things that I've seen, so I'll go through this a little quickly. But I'm looking particularly at images that can be used in a respectful way that we share now in these current times, and that we can use to create costumes, we can use to create choreography, that can be used to create speech, because this is a multimedia performance. And so I will be working with the community to translate these images, these techniques into performance. And here are some of the other things that I've been able to look at. That's a chunky stone in the middle. And our hope for the outcome of this is that the community and we will have the chance to explore our own identity and also to create new contemporary Indigenous art that is based in ancient urban things, to fellowship, to learn about history and learn about ourselves, and to inspire community pride. And there's my website, Shki Gali Heli Shkogi. Thank you very much for coming today.